to Knit One,
Part 2, episode 103.
Neither one of us have show notes.
No. I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Wendy.
I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37, and I'm trying to figure out what I messed up over here. So, Wendy's going to tell you what's on her needles while I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong.
Well, first I'm just going to remind everybody that we're still doing our washcloth knit-along through the end of March.
Which is about 2 weeks from now,
yep.
Believe it or not.
So, a lot of people have been posting to that thread. If you are working on any washcloths or washcloth-like items, either knit or crochet, don't forget to post a photo of your finished object in the thread before the end of March. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm still working on the dance card. I'm still working on my Breakwater sweater by Cecily Glowick McDonald. This pattern is available on Ravelry for about it's either $6 or $7. And it was kindly gifted to me by Melissa from His and Hers podcast. And I have about 3 inches left to knit in the body of the sweater. I was telling people that 10 3/4 inches seemed awfully short for me. I did try it on after last week's show, and it was just below my belly button. Wasn't going to happen. So I needed to add an extra 6 1/4 inches to it. And I'm about... Like I said, I have about 3 inches left, so I'm about halfway done. I am knitting this out of String Theory Sock in the Canyon colorway. And this is yarn that I reclaimed from a really fugly sweater that I showed on an earlier podcast. It deserved to be in something better. It fits beautifully. It's going to be a really great throw-on go-to sweater. I have half a skein left to knit the bottom of this. I think I'm going to get the yardage that I need to finish the bottom of the sweater. I have it in my my yarn owl from Diana Couture, but you can see I have almost a full skein.
Oh wow!
So I think I'm going to have plenty to knit the extra inches on the bottom of the sweater, and then I still have this full skein and these 2 skeins, which together make more than a full skein. So I think I'm going to have enough to do the 3/4 length sleeves that the pattern calls for. But in my head, the plan is to modify the sleeves so that rather than being something that drapes open like this one, I want to have a closer fitting sleeve.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't want a square sleeve. I want it to be more tapered. That's my plan anyway, so we'll see when we get there. But hopefully, I've been a little sidetracked in my knitting, which I'll explain later, but hopefully I'll be at least done with the body of this by the time you see it again. So that's number 1 on the needles. Number 2 on the needles, I finally cast on In the Pink by Izzy Knits. I mean, you saw it last week. It was just a little blob. I am done with the first motif. I can't really show it to you because it's on small needles. But this is the first spiral, and I believe it's the spiral that goes in the middle of the back, and then I have to do 2 smaller spirals.
Okay. Yeah.
So all I have to do with this is put it on some of these cords from my Knit Picks Interchangeables to hold it, and then I'll start knitting the rest of the spirals, and then I'll put it together. This knit up really fast. I think this took me like 2 or 3 hours to knit. It's just a simple spiral. And you can kind of see the shading on the yarn. Not really in this light. It's a pretty close together shade. But In the Pink is by Izzy Knits. It's available for free on Ravelry. And I'm knitting it out of Zoberball in the denim colorway, which I got at Webb's. And I had 1 skein in my deep stash. And I bought a 2nd skein earlier this winter, before Christmas. Excuse me. So that I can make another shawl. My original one I did in black and white Zoberball, and my mom wanted it, so I gave it to her. But I'd like to have one for myself. And that is being stored in my Ploverbird bag. And my sweater is being stored in my giant Knitting's My Bag, my sweater bag. And that's all I have actively worked on the needles this week.
I've only worked on one thing on the needles. I'm still working on it, and I know what my problem is. I'm not sure how to fix it.
What did you do?
Well, it calls for a certain amount of stitches, which I have the stitches, and I follow through with the instructions.
Yeah.
But for some reason, at the very end, you're supposed to, it's one of those where you yarn over once, knit one, yarn over twice.
Right.
It's the elongated stitches. And then you knit 6, and then you start it all over again.
Right.
And at the end, you're supposed to have it so that you knit 2.
Okay.
But I finished the repeat in the stars with the knit 6, and then still have the knit 2 to knit.
Okay.
But according to the pattern, it says that's not how it's supposed to work.
I don't know. I don't remember having that problem when I knit it.
I don't remember.
We've knit
it
it before.
I know. So I'm just trying to see if there were any notes.
Or if you just did something wrong and you can't
figure out
what it is.
Yeah. Well, I looked, and according to everything I did, but I think what I might have to do is actually look at my previous.
Well, can you show everybody what it looks like?
I'm at the very last bit. So what I did is I finished up to clue 1, and I'm on the start. No, I finished up to clue 2, and I'm on the start of clue 3.
And this is the Iris.
The Iris Goddess of Rainbow Shawl by Natasha Vogel, also known as Crazy Kitty Knits.
Which was originally a mystery knit 2 years ago?
2 summers ago, I think, or a summer and a half ago. So this is the shawl. There we go. And I'm at the elongated stitch part, and I just moved it.
You made it get bigger.
It won't let me. There we go. I'm at the elongated stitch part of it, and so I'm just trying to figure out where, if I messed up, or maybe I'm reading too much into the pattern. I don't know. I need to take a good look at it.
Yeah.
At the pattern. Unfortunately, with the clues, she just kept it as clue-like format, to my knowledge. Or if she didn't, like, if you were to purchase it, it may be complete, but she didn't do an update for anyone who had the clues to combine it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So, there's no pictures on the pattern. I have to go back and look at project pages, including mine. And I don't have the shawl to look at.
No, I gave mine away, too.
I gave mine away. I don't remember who I gave it to, but I gave it away.
I gave mine to one of my sisters-in-law for Christmas.
So I'm kind of stuck in that. I'm using size 6, US 6, 4mm needles. I'm really enjoying it, and the dropped stitches will go by quick if I figure out
how to do it.
Well, like I said, I can't read the pattern because it's not a free pattern. But I just got to figure out, that's what I'm on. Oops.
It says, but end the row with knit 2 instead of knit 6. So I would just argue that you would finish that and then you end knit 2, you did a 2 afterwards.
See, now it says repeat to end, but end the row with knit 2 instead of knit 6. To me, that would mean instead of ending it with the knit 6 as the repeat, it would be a knit 2. Not sure, though. I suppose I could go back.
Well, can you do it? Will it work out to just do knit 2 on the end?
No. It will work out as if I was to knit 6 and then knit 2 more.
I would say go with that. Go with that and see what happens on the next row.
Well, the next row you would purl back. Knit. See, and then row 7, you offset it. Maybe it does work out that way. Because maybe here's the elongated stitches and then it goes that way. Maybe it's just the way she's wording it.
I think it might be. I think
because I have the right amount of stitches, because that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid that I didn't have the right amount of stitches.
I think you need to just roll with it.
I'll just roll with it.
I would.
But this is what it looks like. Oh, the other thing I didn't do, it was you were short rows. And I ended up doing the short row that I'm familiar with, the wrap and turn. And I'm glad I did, because even when I was going back to knit it, it still didn't make sense. And you can't tell. You can't tell.
Not in that pattern.
What I didn't do is she wanted you to knit so that there was only 7 active stitches in the middle. Mm-hmm. I knit, I don't know, I just got to the width that I liked and I stopped.
And you were done.
That's the good thing about doing shawls like this. You can really knit it to as wide as you want it. I didn't want it a shawl. I wanted it more of a scarf.
Right.
So there was probably maybe 20, 25 stitches in between the 2 stitch markers.
That's a
and
good
the stitch
month.
markers was just to keep my frame of reference. Yeah. And again, with the short row that you're going back and forth like that, to have it exact, it leaves you some flexibility.
Yeah.
So, this is what I'm at right now. I really like the colors. I really love the feel of
this. That is Wilmai's in the Zenzi colorway.
It is. I love the feel of this.
I think that's going to be so pretty.
It is going to be pretty. It's going to be a nice color to go with just about everything. So this is where I'm at. I'm on clue 3. Clue 3, as you do that, the elongated stitches as many times as you want. One repeat would be the elongated stitches here and then here. That would be one repeat.
So they're offset.
They're offset, so I could do 1.5 if I want, or 2.
Or however many looks good to you.
Right.
That's good.
And then I'll go on to clue 4, and then I'll be done.
Yay!
Yeah.
And that's all you have on the needles that you're
actively working on. I haven't worked on the socks in a couple of weeks. Again, they were not for anyone. They're for my son.
So you're not in a rush?
No, I'm not. And he can wait because he can wait.
So, rate your date. I actually have 2 dates to rate, which fell on the floor earlier. I'm going to try to get them without falling out of the chair. Okay. So one of the reasons that I got sidetracked from working on the sweater, because this is not a complicated knit. Like, if I sat down to it, I could probably finish the body of the sweater in a couple of hours. But on Sunday, we found out that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law are expecting their first baby. And so, of course, I immediately downloaded a million baby patterns. Excuse me, queued up and downloaded a million baby patterns. And what I did was, now I need to look on my, hold on a second. I need to look, I did the Owlie Sleep Sack by Teresa Cole. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's got the little owl cable on the top. I knit it out of Malabrigo Rios. And I can't remember the name of the colorway. I think I have another skein of it in here. It's in the lettuce. Makes sense. This is the lettuce colorway. I love this yarn for baby stuff that's worsted because it's superwash and it's also plied, so it doesn't pill the way like the single ply Malabrigo does. And I banged this out really fast. I did this on size 7 needles, and I have a whole skein of this left so that if she wants me to make it longer when the baby gets a little bit longer, if she's still swaddling by then, I can make it a little bit longer. But this is primarily for a newborn baby. You swaddle them and then you shove them in this sack. So that's the Owlie Sleep Sack. And then...
Did it call for worsted?
It called for worsted Aran. And then I made the matching Owlie cable hat, also by Teresa Cole. That has the little owls. These haven't been blocked. They'll look a little bit less bunchy when I've blocked them, but that it goes. So just imagine the little baby's snuggled up in his sack, and there's his head, or her head, because I don't know what they're having yet. So yeah, this took me like maybe 3 hours to knit. It wasn't a very complex knit. It does have this cable pattern, but you only really have to cable in 3 rows, and the rest of it is just stockinette and decreases. So it's a very simple, quick gift if you want to send it out to people. And the hat took me like an hour. I love knitting baby stuff because it's like instant gratification. And one of the things I love about the Rios, besides that it's superwash, is it's really, really next to the skin soft. Like this, unless you end up with a baby that's allergic to wool.
Yeah.
This is going to be very good on a delicate baby skin. So those are ready to go to my sister-in-law this weekend. And my husband was laughing because my daughter knit a little sensory blanket with, she put ribbon tabs and she sewed a little teddy bear on it and felt, and I knit those baby things. We were like on it within 12 hours of learning about the pregnancy. We're like banging out baby stuff like there's no tomorrow. So yeah, Teresa Cole is the designer. It's on her blog Comfort Wool. and it is free. You can just access it directly from the link on Ravelry. Owlie Sleep Sack, and I guess it's called Owl Cable Hat, but if you search on Owlie Sleep Sack, there's a link to the hat and the pattern, I believe. So that is all that I have on Rate My Date.
I got nothing.
Whirlwind Romance. I actually finished spinning the 4 ounces of the Men in Black colorway. I had 2 4-ounce bumps. I finished spinning and plying one of them, but it's over on the wheel still. I haven't skeined it, so I'll show it to you next week. And I am still working on my Flower Shop Inferno sweater as we speak. And I just have to say that doing the Knitting Blooms video that Tina created with Coggy from High Fiber Diet, like, totally put my wheel back into normal condition.
Oh, good.
It doesn't make noise anymore. It's such a relief. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I waited so long to deal with it. Like, I should have just known that if I went ahead and did a thorough clean and tightening and reconditioning, that my wheel would work better. So spinning has been much more enjoyable since then. If you have a spinning wheel, especially if you have a ladybug, that is a really good video to make you less afraid of doing stuff on your wheel. Right. You know, it really tells you how to clean the bobbins and the flyers and how to condition the leather under the treadles. I mean, everything that you should do if you have a shocked wheel that requires maintenance. I know that a lot of spinning wheels don't require oiling and greasing because they have closed bearings. Shocked wheels do. So if you have one, that's a great go-to video. In fact, I'm going to make a note to myself to link it in the show notes.
And I'm at a point where I'm dropping stitches.
So that's all we have for Whirlwind Romance. Future dates. I have a ton of future dates. And this is why I'm worried about where my knitting is going to be for the next couple of weeks. People who know me know that I freaking love babies. I love babies. I love being around babies, but I particularly love knitting for babies because it's such a quick, like a instant gratification project. So I came up with this awesome idea where, since I don't know the sex of the baby, I won't know for another month, but I want to knit some baby stuff and have it kind of like amassed by the time that they have it. I thought it would be awesome to do some seasonal hats for the baby because the baby can wear them whether it's a girl or a boy. And it just so happens that a friend of mine, Diana Noz, also has a baby coming in her life. Not hers. Not hers. Not her. Good thing she doesn't watch the show. If you know Diana Noz, she is not having a baby, but she has a relative. She is going to be an aunt. So she and I decided we would split the cost of yarn and make a bunch of these baby hats. So the first one we're going to make is the pumpkin hat by Sarah Hood. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and that's what it looks like. And then, you have to just bear with me a second while this queues up. We are going to make the Christmas tree hat by Patty Pierce Stone. That is so cute. You can decorate it however you want.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Especially with buttons on a baby.
I wouldn't put buttons on it, but you could
can certainly embroider.
You could embroider with like crewel work and, you know. We're making that. And then the Bunny Beanie by No Knit, N-O-E Knit. Look how cute, sweet. And then, let's see if I can find that pattern that I was looking at before. The turkey thing, because I don't know if I can.
You didn't cue it?
You know, I forgot to press the cue button. I'm going to just look it up really quick. Turkey. Yeah, bear with me, everybody. I mean, there can't be that many turkey hats on Ravelry.
You'd be surprised.
It's called the Turkey Viking hat.
No, a Viking chicken hat, I thought.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I better search on that because I'm not seeing it here.
It wasn't turkey. I thought it was chicken.
Viking chicken?
I thought so.
I'll believe you. This might... Oh. Well, this is the adult version. But there's also a baby version.
That looks exactly like that.
This one was in... No, it's the same designer. Oh, okay. This is by Sarah Mundy. There is a baby version of this. It looks like you're wearing a chicken on your head or a turkey on your head. I think that is so cute. So those are the 4 hats that we're making. And I'm going to get started on them right away because I bought yarn today. Which actually, Diane and I split the cost of the yarn because you can get most of these hats out of 2 out of 1 skein of yarn.
But didn't you buy 2 skeins of each color?
No.
Oh, all right.
I bought 2 skeins of the bunny one because it's a smaller yardage because it's bulky. So you needed just under 1 skein.
Oh, all right.
And I had to buy 2 skeins of the chicken hat because it has that seed stitch on it, so
right.
It takes up yarn. But the rest of them I just bought 1 skein to share. So we split the cost of the yarn. And those will all be linked on the show notes. And you will see them coming to a podcast soon because I'm going to start working. I think I'm going to knit the bunny hat first because it's so freaking cute.
It is cute. And it's close to Easter.
Yeah. It'll be fun. So that's my future dates.
I have a lot on future dates that I want to do. Whether or not I'll get to them, that's a whole nother story. But I've been talking about it. I still need a new pair of slippers for myself because nothing beats the warmth of those slippers. I'm sorry, there's just nothing that... I have slippers that are store-bought. They just don't feel the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, talking about yarn, I'm going to be going through my yarn, and I want to de-stash some stuff. But I have yarn that I think I'm going to make a baby kangaroo hoodie.
Oh, yeah, that's
not a baby, but maybe for a
toddler.
1, 2... Yeah, toddler. Because that's mindless enough, but fun enough. But I may not do the hood. I might just do a rolled...
I think that's a great idea.
A rolled collar, because hoods and babies don't always mix.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Some kids don't like that stuff. Some kids love hoods, other kids not.
As a young, like maybe 4 or 5-year-old, maybe. But as a toddler...
I know my son loved a hood his whole life. He loves having a hood on his head. My daughter, not so much. So I think it's a thing.
And then I also want to do another clapetee with some silk yarn that I have.
I know. Combo. That's going to be so
the question
pretty.
is what I feel like casting on after I'm done with this.
Clapetee?
No, I think it might actually be the sweater because it's a mindless knit around.
That's true. Look, kind of like this one.
Yeah, but the only thing is that the yarn I have would probably be a striped sweater.
Oh, that'll be pretty.
Yeah.
It'll look good.
So that's what I'm having in my future. I think the sock will probably sit for a little bit.
No, well, you know.
Because I work, I think, every other Sunday, and it's going to work out well if I have some knitting with me.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, crushes and heartbreaks. My heartbreak is that it has been 0 days since somebody vomited in my house.
But before that, it was 6.
It was 6. We did make it to 6. We have now had 3 incidents of vomiting in my house. And I am starting to think...
Like a fool, I'm still coming.
I know. Well, my husband and I haven't vomited. We've been sick to our stomachs. And we've had some stomach problems. But vomit has not been one of them. But my daughter has vomited on 3 separate occasions. And my son has vomited within 12 to 24 hours after her the first 2 times. And we're still waiting to find out because... The 3rd vomiting happened this morning right before we were going to leave to meet somebody in New Hampshire. So, I don't know. That is my heartbreak. I am going to scrub this house within an inch of its life. And I am going to launder all stuffed animals. I don't know why this is recurring, but this is not normal. And also, frankly, I'm just getting really tired of having somebody who's vomiting to deal with. And I have a cold myself that I thought was getting better, but it turns out that the Dayquil was just making it seem better. I didn't take any this morning, and I feel horrible. So, yeah, That's my heartbreak. And my crush is I'm going to be an auntie and the baby's going to live 5 minutes from me. So I'm going to have baby time all the time.
That's good.
Baby time where I can play and then go home.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Super excited. So that's it for me.
Crushes and heartbreaks. Crushes at the moment, I can't think of any. No, Zachary had a doctor's appointment. We don't have to see them again for 6 months. That was for his rheumatology. And he had a conference yesterday and he's doing well. We have a liver appointment Monday, so next week, and a pediatrician appointment. I figured I'd just book them all on one day.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me, my pediatrician sent us a letter we have to book for the annuals.
Well, Zachary is supposed to have his sometime in December or January. Yeah, it's March. But my excuse on that one is Zachary's pediatrician retired.
Yeah, so you've got a new practice.
We have a new pediatrician.
Right.
They actually had him scheduled with someone else in comparison to what my older one has. Like, they had 2 different pediatricians. I'm like, yeah, let's keep them the same.
Yeah, it's just much easier.
Well, because when Max had his annual sometime in January, and we had briefly touched upon Zachary, so he's actually expecting to see Zachary. Right. And it was just easier that way. My heartbreaks, however, are many. I've been dealing with a boiler issue. We don't have a hot water tank. We have what apparently is called forced hot water boiler with a tankless coil.
It's a real thing.
Something
Don't let
like
your
that.
husband argue with you twice in a week that it's not a real thing.
So basically, we have a coil that's in our boiler that is heated by the boiler water. Cold water comes into the coiler like drinking cold water.
Yeah.
Like, the good water. It gets heated by the boiler and then goes to wherever it needs to go. We've never had an issue in this in the sense of we've never run out of hot water. Hot water tanks, you can run out of hot water because if you have 5 people taking a shower. Saturday after recording here, my husband calls and says, do you know we have water in the basement? I'm like, how would I know that? I'm not there. So we have water in the basement sometimes come springtime. It comes up. Massachusetts is known to have leakage in its basements. It's just it's a very wet state. Wilmington is basically a bog.
Yes. There is a house there that I drive by on the way to Sheila's that when it gets really floody.
Oh my gosh.
The house is like on an island.
I don't know.
I don't know how they live there.
Kim and I wonder that all the time because it's every spring, no matter what. We only get flood when the water table is really bad.
I'm surprised they don't have like a boat docked to their front door just
what was it? A couple of years ago, we got really flooded.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't think they could get out of their house.
I don't think they could either. It was
their
seriously,
front yard
it's
is
like an island with a house-size island, and then there's like water
surrounding it
until the road.
I don't know how they survive. I really don't. So we only get flooded when the water table outside is extremely high, and it's usually due to a very wet spring. Last couple of years, knock on wood, we haven't. But we do have a sump pump, and that usually, it usually starts running. And I said to my husband, it's too early for any water to be coming into our basement.
Well, and we had just gotten heavy snow, so it's not like there had been much time for there to be melt.
But
it was weird. Remember talking about that? We were maybe it's...
And then where it was, I'm like, that's not where we typically get water first.
Yeah.
What it ended up, I'm looking around. He didn't look.
Of course not.
I noticed that we were leaking water from our boiler. So it was Saturday. We put a bucket under it. I wasn't about to call for emergency service because then you pay more. So I called the boiler guy, and first they thought it was some sort of pressure valve. They replaced it. Then we did a test because I said, nope, we're still leaking. He goes, okay, let's turn off this part and see. It's the coil. So he was supposed to come by yesterday. I couldn't because Zachary had doctor's appointments. And then he got tied up with an oil tank and had to, I guess, pump the oil tank by hand.
Oh, boy.
500 gallons of oil.
Wow.
Yeah. And so today, hopefully, he's going to come by. So that's that. New Year's Day. We've talked about this. New Year's Day tends to be the baseline of what the rest of the year is.
I like to say that how your New Year's Day goes is a sign of what the rest of your year is going to be.
And
like.
It's worked out for us.
Last
year it was great. 2 years ago, not
Except
so good.
Last year, what I did on New Year's Day is I ran into somebody with my car, and I ended up having car accidents like multiple times. And I'm never in car accidents.
That was me. So somehow New Year's Day, pulling out of the parking lot, I hit something. Not even enough to show damage, but I hit something.
Yeah.
Then one of the snowstorms, No, that's what it was. New Year's Eve.
You backed into something.
But it was technically New Year's Day.
Right.
I was reversing in the snow, and what I thought was snow was actually concrete.
Yeah, she backed into something.
So it wasn't anything that you could see. And then I think I bumped something else, not a big deal. Well, earlier this week, it might have been Wednesday, I got into an accident in the parking lot. It was, I think, a mutual thing where I was backing up. This person saw me backing up, but decided to go around me. And I had a big truck on my side I couldn't see. So we hit. So I'm writing out my information, watching this person. She pulls around another car to park. Well, I finally get up to go give my information, and this person's gone.
She took off. Hit and run.
So I called the police, told them my side of the story. I've yet to be in touch with them. So now I have to get a couple of people's opinion on whether or not it's worth it to fix.
It doesn't look too bad. It's mostly scraping.
And it's the
on
plastic bumper. So I'm not sure what we'll do. Then Thursday our internet went out. It's fixed now, and the internet is nothing. It's a minor problem, but it's an annoyance because my husband does a lot of stock and bonds and sells and buys on the internet.
Well, and it's just
reputable companies.
You do a lot of stuff using the internet now that like 5 years ago you didn't do. Like I know my daughter has homework that has to be done on an internet website. My son has it. Sometimes it's quicker for my daughter to use the Webster's Dictionary online to look words up than it is to page through her little dictionary.
See, for us, we just use a dictionary because we don't have, like, Apple or whatever. But, yeah, same here. Zachary's had math homework to do, and he couldn't do it. It's just an annoyance if you're trying to download something, upload something.
Yeah.
We look up weather. We look up school lunches. There's
there's a lot of stuff.
It was a quick fix. The guy spent maybe 15 minutes there because we tried to troubleshoot it through the phone, and they actually, I think, did more damage through the phone. It was an encryption thing, so it was Comcast. He came out, fixed it, changed whatever he needed to change, explained to me what was going on. I'm like, okay, over the head. And gave us free Cinemax or Showtime for 3 months because it was within 30 days. We had just signed up for Comcast. It was like less than a week that this happened. So those are my crushes, my heartbreaks. I think that's enough.
Hopefully things are going to start picking up for you. And you got a new job. That's a good thing. Well, a good thing happened.
Yeah. I did my first full week of my job last week. I did a full day on Sunday by myself. Not by myself, but as phlebotomist by myself. And knock on wood, it was quiet. Got some knitting done.
That's good.
That's about it. And I got called from one of my coworkers to see if I could take three of her shifts next week. So I'm doing that. And hopefully I'll be getting paid soon because my bills are starting to rack up.
Yeah, but that'll be good. So
that's it.
Baubles and Bling. I apologize that this is starting to go fast, but I have to pick up my child in 20 minutes.
Oh.
We had kind of crazy day today. We'll explain that in the end. But crushes and heartbreaks. Oh, no, sorry. Baubles and Bling. First of all,
I got nothing. I'll just state that right now. I got nothing.
I mentioned this last week. I use this Carnauba and Lavender spinning wheel wax from Magical Moons on Etsy to condition my wheel. Carnauba wax is really the recommended wax. One of the recommended wax, might not be the only one. For spinning wheel wood, it cleans and it conditions. And I love this because it's lavender scented. And the Magical Moons... Terry Sackett is the owner. This is her business card. And I will also link that in the show notes. And I love lavender. And when I do this, my wheel smells like lavender. So it's kind of awesome. Plus, it makes the wood stay cleaner. I don't wear shoes when I treadle my wheel. I only wear socks or bare feet. But you still get, from walking around your house, dirt gets on your feet and your socks. And this kind of protects it from staying on the wood. So, and something like this is the large size. I had the small size. It lasts me for 3 full wheel conditions, and I have enough left to do a 4th. I went ahead and bought the big one. So, that'll probably last me 2 years.
What's it look like inside?
Looks like wax.
So what do? Take a cloth to it?
You take a like a microfiber cloth or a rag, and you just take a small amount and you work it into the wood. And it melts very easily when it warms, so it rubs right in, and you can clean with it. It'll scrub up some of the stuff. Right. But if you watch the video that I'm going to link in the show notes, that tells you how to like clean your wheel with some Murphy's oil soap type thing first to take off like the hardcore dirt, right. And then you won't have to do so much with the wax. And that's mostly just to seal and protect and keep the wood from drying out because, it's a wooden machine. So anyway, that I ordered, and this is the second time I've ordered from her. I also get my spinning wheel oil from her. It comes in a nice little needle nose bottle. And she's great to do business with if you need supplies. So there's that. Then I got a surprise in the mail from my friend Lois. She sent me a cookie from Cheryl's. These are samples of what some of their cookies look like. And mine is a bunny. Isn't that cute? It came in the mail today. It's super cute. So thank you, Lois. That was really sweet.
Did you press Siri?
Yes, Siri. I didn't even press her. My arm touched it and she came on.
Oh,
Siri,
right.
Siri is annoying. So there's that. And then I bought yarn today. And what I love about Yarn and Fiber Company is she actually scanned it all for me. So I don't have to. So this is, I can't remember what it is. Berrocco DK.
And that's for which hat?
This is going to be for the Christmas tree hat. And this is Berrocco Vintage, I believe. And I got 2 skeins of this because the turkey hat takes more. This is for the turkey hat, or the chicken Viking hat, or whatever it was called. This is Berrocco Vintage, and this is for the pumpkin.
Pretty.
And this is Berrocco Bulky. She stuck the tags in the middle. I have to rip them out. I think it's Berrocco. Chunky, bulky, I don't know, it's super washed. Vintage Chunky.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's so soft.
It is soft. That's acrylic, or is
it's acrylic wool blend, and I think it's superwash. Or it might just, let me look at the label. I'm not familiar with it. It's acrylic and wool and nylon. It's really nice. I got 2 skeins of that because the bunny hats take more. And then I have odds and ends for like the Christmas tree ornaments and the leaves on the pumpkin. I'll probably have some of this left over I can make leaves with.
True.
And my friend Diane and I just split the cost of the wool. And so it's really easy for her because I'll just give her her stuff.
True.
So, yeah. That's my Baubles and Bling. It's all for babies.
Oh, good.
And Gossip and Innuendo.
So the North Shore Crawl is going on right now.
Yeah.
We haven't gone to any stores and visited at all, so.
No. Well, actually, we went to Yarn and Fiber Company today, but I don't think they're on the...
No, that's too far up. That's like
it's New Hampshire.
Yeah. And I don't need any yarn that I'm going to visit or be tempted to visit.
Yeah.
A store, because money's tight.
Yeah.
For now, until I get a paycheck.
And I really only needed money for the hats. Yarn for the hats that my friend and I are going to make. We're each going to make one of those for hats.
Yarn and Fiber.
Yarn and Fiber Company, because as a second part of our
Gossip
we met up with JD from Twisted Strands in Derry, New Hampshire.
And our viewer, Susan.
Who we've met up with before.
Yep.
And spent a couple hours hanging out at Yarn and Fiber and chatting and knitting and
having a good time.
Yep, I enabled JD to buy the seashell shawl pattern that I have, and I'm trying to get her to do a support knit along with me. I don't know how that's going to work out. So far, support knit alongs have not worked out well for me. Whenever I do one, nobody's knitting at the same time as me. Or like they are, but not at the same time in the same area.
Same speed.
Or they started and then they like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Hey,
I'm ripping it out.
There's no way.
I'm never going to let you forget
Citron was an epic fail.
Never going to let you forget it.
I'm sure I'm not the only one in that thought process.
Yeah, that was a very unpleasant shawl.
I don't see how that could... Sorry, side tangent. Citron was done supposedly with Malabrigo lace. And it might have been that I started off on the wrong size needles. But that is one of those... what's it called?
Single ply?
No. The pattern where a lot of people do it.
Oh, a viral
pattern. I don't understand why. It was a horrible pattern. But that's because I'm not a purler. I don't like purling.
There was purling and there was a lot of knit front and back.
And then you had to purl all that way back.
Yeah. It was a lot of trouble. And you're doing it on single ply lace, which is never fun.
In the first place. So
yeah, it was not a happy
I have no regrets on that one. I'm sorry. No regrets.
So yeah, that was fun meeting up with JD, and
we had to cut it short. But
yeah, well, because first of all, I was lucky I even got to go because my kid vomited this morning, and my husband, who was so sweet, volunteered to stay home with her because the last time I made plans to meet up with JD, I forgot to go. Because if I don't have an alarm on my phone, it doesn't happen. That's how bad I am.
We set an alarm to remind us what time to go.
I have alarms for everything.
So do I.
That's scary. That is how old I am.
And that would be my son calling to say that he's home. Sorry. I just rejected him. I'm not going to answer it on this.
So anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention again is Christine, who is Fire Medic on Ravelry, is still running her auction on the Textured Knots blanket, which was designed by Nora Gahn. She knitted it's a beautiful cream-colored version of it to benefit Mid-Atlantic Burn Camp. The raffle ends on March 31st, 2013, and the winter will be posted on her Facebook page on April 1st. I linked to it last week in the show notes, and I'm going to link to it again in this week's show notes. There goes your message notification.
And that was him saying, Mom, I'm home.
And also I wanted to give a shout out for Melissa of His and Hers podcast because she is still raising money to walk in the breast cancer 3-day this summer. And if you go to the His and Hers podcast page, I think she has a link to her sponsorship page. She just got a really nice donation through Heather from Highland Handmaids, who sold a pattern, has been selling a pattern to benefit that charity and I think 2 others.
Oh, good.
So that's really nice. But I just thought I would mention it for people
Kudos to Melissa, because I know it was rough for her last year.
It was rough for her last year.
And she said she didn't want to do it again, but she is doing it again. So.
No, and it's a good cause. I mean, anything that you can do to benefit breast cancer research.
Or any research.
Or any cancer research. Or any research that helps people stay healthy. Mm. Like the Mid-Atlantic Burn Camp, too, that benefits kids who have been burned and, helps increase the enjoyment of their life. And I just think charities like that are really great. So if you're feeling charitable as it gets warmer and we move into spring, those are 2 good places where you can spend even 1 or 2 of your charity dollars.
Sounds good.
So I thought I would mention it. I think that's it. The reason I'm cutting in here by myself is that before we recorded, I did not check my inbox, and I found out afterwards that we had been kindly gifted the Loire Shawl by Angeleah McGarrah. And as you can see from this picture, the Loire Shawl has 4 different options, and it just basically changes the placement of the lace and texture and cables in the pattern, depending on what you decide to do. This is one of the patterns that I tech edited for Angeleah. And one of the things that I thought was really clever about her pattern is that she uses a special chart that you can use to keep track of how many times you need to complete the charts, which charts you're going to use in which order. It's a really clever way to keep track of your work without having to take notes. So that's something that I haven't seen in a lot of patterns. I think it's really interesting. Anyway, as she usually has with her patterns, Angeleah has kindly issued a coupon code if you would like to purchase the Loire cowl. And the code is LOIRE2. That will get you $1 off her pattern until March 30th. So I just wanted to add that in case you are interested in purchasing the pattern. I can highly recommend it. I like that it has a lot of customizations and options. I think there's probably something to appeal to everybody in the 4 designs that she offers. So anyway, thanks for letting me cut in like this on my own show. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
That's it for me. A real quick podcast. We got to get going, unfortunately.
I know.
Due to our visit, and
we're delayed all day today because it just was crazy.
So, if you're watching us for the first time, sorry that it's been quick and rough and tumble here. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you come back for next week. If you're watching us, if you're a continuing viewer, thanks for coming back each week. We do appreciate it.
Yeah. Don't forget to post pictures in the knit along thread because we'll be drawing for that. The next episode after March 31st. Not the next episode of now, but after March 31st. Whatever episode whatever.
March 31st happens to be a Sunday.
Okay,
so
it'll be the
7th, 6th or 7th.
Sorry, thank you, because I'm bad at math.
I only know 31st is a Sunday because it's Easter.
How do you even know Oh, Easter. See, now I don't know that. I need to put an alarm on my phone to remind me that it's Easter.
Okay, that's bad.
I know.
And on that note, have a good day.
Knit with heart. Bye. Bye.